Okay, I am thrilled to introduce our next speaker. Our first speaker was fantastic. Thank you so much, Barb. Barbara is a business coach, a copywriter, and an email marketing strategist, which we're really thrilled because we're using her at the chamber now. So we're excited that we have 2 separate campaigns that she put together for us. She is the founder of Foreplay Copy, which is both the name of her one-person email marketing agency as well as her weekly blog for entrepreneurs who want more sales for their products and services through the power of email marketing and automation. Barbara earned her master's in psychology from the Grand Canyon University and totally geeks out on word psychology and how wordplay is foreplay for your brain, hence the business name. Just by reading specific words, serotonin and oxytocin are released, which creates pleasure, making the reader feel good. When you make a reader feel good, they'll naturally want to listen to you, read more about you and your products and services, and ultimately buy. Clients tap her to make flat, cliche, one-note emails read like fresh, personality filled with magic. She's written email sequences that have sold out programs and generated over $35,000 in just 2 weeks. Barbara has 30 plus years of business experience in the health, wellness, spa, and beauty industry and has helped many businesses including coaching, entertainment, the arts, education, spa, mindfulness, health, wellness, and beauty. And you can now add civic engagement with your chamber. She has appeared in online publications and podcasts, including the Creative Woman Leader podcast, Voyage Phoenix, Beauty Marketing Simplified, and First for Women. If she's not stringing words together in a meaningful way or building an email sequence, she can be found outdoors, hiking the Adero Canyon, or cruising on her electric blue bike around town. Put your hands together for Barbara Murphy-Shannon.
Well, I like my little small group here. Thank you. So Elevate is a program that I had put together during COVID for my clients. And it's actually a 7-day, 1-hour day program. So it's 7 hours. Now I have 50 minutes. So I had to condense it. So we're going to move along really fast. And I want to make it interactive. So I gave you the workbook. So we're going to, as we go through this, I want you to actually put down your thoughts, ideas. I can send you this in an email as well, so if you mess this up and want to do it again, because you can't really do this in 15 minutes. We are planning for 2024. So, a goal without a plan is just a wish, right? So we all know this. We're all business owners. We know we have to have a goal plan, a marketing plan, but sometimes we'll put it together, but then we don't go back to it and look at it and make sure that we're following those steps. This program that, so this is based on Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. I don't know if anybody's read this, but it's a great book. If you haven't, go ahead, find it. He, as you know, realtor, very successful, but totally burned out. And he realized that he was trying to do too many things at one time. So it's all about focusing on the one thing at the right time, rather than trying to focus on everything. So follow one course until successful. So Bart was that was great what he talked about, because the part that I have to kind of not do today is the mindset part, but he did a great part as far as bringing that up about your why. Because if you put together your goals and you're like, oh, I want to do X, Y, Z, I want to double my income, whatever it is, if there's not a why behind it, it's not going to happen. So you really have to have that why, and if you don't know what that is, take some time to figure it out. But then your why has to be stronger than your fear, because what's going to happen is this. This is a day in the life of an entrepreneur. Where oh yeah, this is great. Then you're like, oh my God, I suck. Then it's like, oh yeah, this is great, it's working. Then it's like, oh no. So if you don't have a strong why, you're not going to get through this roller coaster. So make sure you have a strong why. Okay, so the workbook, if you go open up to your first page, You want to put in the year, so this, if you can use this for 2024, is what I would suggest. Since we're already ending 2023. And it was interesting, before I came over, I recorded all the trainings I did with this, and it was 2021, it was during COVID, and we were all Zooming, and they were saying like, you know, here we are, the world's like in a crazy place, and now we're sitting here planning goals, and it just felt really odd for them. But then we're all like, yeah, look at us, yes, we still move on with life, even though life's throwing some stuff at us, and we can't even like be in a room with people anymore. So we had to do the Zoom. So the first part of this is going to be a big, hairy, audacious goal. So this is the one thing that you want to focus on for the year. So that can be, and it has to be like, as we all know, SMART goals. So it has to be measurable and specific. But it has to be like, it's scary. It has to be scary. It can't be like, oh, I want 2 more clients this year. Come on, right? It has to be scary. We have to feel uncomfortable with it. This is how we move forward and how we get to our goals. So maybe like a company wants to double their revenue from 1 million to 2 million, or maybe if it's not a revenue goal, it could be customers. Maybe you have 100 customers and you want to have to get up to 2,000 customers. So I know I'm putting you on the spot, but just go ahead, write a beehive, write it down, think about it. What do you want to do next year? You've got it. You want to share?
Yeah, besides being a chaplain, I have my own business. It's EMF Wellness for You, and people don't realize how important it is that people know, so getting my website, because it's part-time that I do my job, I don't have enough to develop. My goal is to really develop and get it out there.
Can you say that again?
To develop and grow my EMF Wellness business.
Okay, so that's great, but we want it specific. So like, what does that mean?
Well, I get my website up.
So like grow, so is there a number you can put on that?
Dollar value?
No, it could just be like, have so many people see my website. It could be, let's see, so you want to develop, anybody got any thoughts here?
Website developed by February 15th.
A date. So maybe a date?
Yes,
Okay.
my website will be done by January 1st.
Okay, so put that down. Anyone else have one that they want to share? Or just throw out there? It doesn't have, you're not going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. It could just be like you're brain dumping right now. It's a good process.
I think that it always boils down to, I think even your slide is money, right? Like how double my customers, double my whatever. So I know what works for me. I'm in sales, and I want to book more speaking gigs because that's where my passion is. And when I do that, the sales just naturally come. So I need to book more.
Okay, so how many did you do last year?
Maybe, I don't even know. I'd have to count.
Just take a guess. We'll just play.
20.
Okay, so you want to double it?
Yeah, there you go.
Alright. So just
40
go back and look at
days.
your analytics, what you actually did.
Yeah,
You know, when you go back to your office. And if it was 20, you're going to do 40 this year.
yeah, I gotta go.
She's like, I gotta go work.
So your end of year goal is to double it by the end of the year,
Yeah.
you're saying, or by quarter, okay?
Oh my God, that would put me at 120, or wait, no, 160, that's every day now.
Yeah, so if you did 20 last year, you want 40 this year. If you want to do it by the months, that's a whole different. But I would go with, right now we're thinking yearly.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I'm gonna piggyback that, I wanna sell the online course nationwide, how am I gonna do that, be more specific? I need to have events to put it out there, so I need to triple it,
Okay.
quadruple it.
Wow.
Or you could be
just-
like, I want to sell XYZ number of programs.
Yeah,
And then what we'll get to the how in the next couple slides. So yeah, I would say for you, it would be like, I want to sell 50 programs or whatever that number is. Again, realistic to a point, but I really want you to stretch yourself.
Okay,
And then you can put a dollar number on that because your course costs a certain.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, what do you need to go into?
Yeah,
More
we're
than
gonna go
50.
through the whole,
way more than 50.
we'll do the how next. Anyone else? Scott?
Increase my client base by 50%.
Okay, so,
Hire one more employee.
okay, great. So you'll go back and know what that number is with your numbers and metrics and,
Sure.
okay, alright. Nice. Anyone else? Okay. Alright, so how do you get there? So the first thing you're gonna do is come up with your milestone objectives. And we want to, this is kind of a brain dump. These are the projects that will get you to that goal. They're your major projects. So I would say on the back of the page, rather than writing them in already in the spot on the worksheet, just do a brain dump on the projects that you have to complete to achieve that goal. So it could be like updating my website, social media, contacting a speakers bureau. Scott, what was your goal again?
Check.
Check.
My goal is to have everybody know my first name.
I'll work on that. Yeah.
Increase my client base by 50%.
Okay. So what are some of the projects you're gonna have to do to achieve that?
Anytime I get a new client, I ask them how they discovered me, how did they find me? And most recently, those finds are found by Google searches,
Okay.
which for me feels a little bit odd. I would have thought it would be word of mouth. I would have thought it would be something else, social media, but somehow it's coming up on the Google searches. So my note to myself is to increase my visibility in social media, so Google searches work more frequently.
Okay. And SEO. With Google search.
Do you do a lot of social media posts?
Well, for the last year, I haven't.
We have been tagging you in every single learning packet, but that's
Sure.
the difference, I don't know.
I don't know why. I have 5-star reviews from, I don't know, 20 or 30 people. So that helps SEO.
Yeah.
I don't know if the tags helps, these tags help SEO, but I don't know what makes me show up on Google searches.
So that would be SEO. Because what's happened with Google is that if your name, your company's coming up based on just being tagged in a third party, when someone plugs in a location type of business, you're gonna come up. So yeah, that's SEO. So put that on one of your milestone objectives. So here's an example of some milestone objectives. So make key position hires, add staff, because if the company wants to go say from 1 million to 2 million, you can't do it alone. Upgrade, refresh your digital marketing platforms. That could be your website, your blog, social media. Maybe overhaul your whole website. Like it's not, think about websites that have to be up to date. It's the digital brochure. You get 5 seconds for someone to look at that. There you go. You're gonna go, oh, this is professional. Oh, they're off. Set up and run digital marketing campaigns. Improve your bookkeeping, accounting, refine service processes, develop a sales team. Again, if the goal is a monetary, you have to have some kind of sales process in place. Improve internal communications. So this is an example. So if you brain dump and you have so many milestone objectives, these are the big projects to get you to your goal. What I want you to do is take 5, only 5, because you can't do more than 5. If you have more than 5, you're going to put the other couple in what we call the parking lot. So put those to the side. Doesn't mean you will not ever work on them during the year. It just means you're not going to focus on them right now. So any questions about like milestone objectives, like these big projects that you're going to have to do? PJ, do you have any thoughts on like what your projects are?
On how to get to,
So these are the things that are gonna get you there. So you had said that you want to double your speaking, right?
Right.
So,
Well, you mentioned the speaker bureau and I wrote it down with a question mark. I don't know what that is.
okay, so there's the speaker bureau, which you can get involved in when you sign up for it, and then you can either go to them and sign up for conferences and things that you can sign up for, and in reverse, they can also call you and say, hey, we have this conference coming up, we think you'd be a perfect fit. So,
Yeah.
how else do you get your speaking gigs?
I plan them. I mean, either I'll host one here and social media and I get people here, or, I mean, I've pretty much exhausted, I think, Fountain Hills and all the places that I speak at, community center, etc. Many groups, so I need to get my butt over to Scottsdale is what I need to do. And that's really big to me because I don't know anything about Scottsdale or what's there or how to do that. I'm so comfortable here in my little Fountain Hills.
So when you do your speaking here, when you do it at your business?
I do it here, or I'll do it at the event wherever the group is that, like the Rotary, the community center, just wherever. So, I mean, I just need to, I just don't know.
So you describe your ideal client.
Health conscious, wants to feel good, wants to do anything she can to maintain a lifestyle, out of pain. Yes, alternative health,
Anti-aging.
anti-aging.
Where was your
definitely.
last positive event that you told me about? You're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that was a trade show. That's
Oh,
another.
all right, a trade show.
So trade shows,
Mhm.
that would be one of
Yeah.
them, could be a milestone objective. Would you have that?
Well, of course, as the Fountainhills Chamber of Commerce, we're gonna say you don't need to go to Scottsdale. So have you?
Oh my
But truly, do you really feel like you've exhausted? Have you met all the moms groups? There's thousands of moms and moms groups. Have you done all the sports groups beyond pickleball? Have you met with we have 6 different golf courses have you tied into those women in those groups? Like really brainstorming what we have here.
Okay.
I personally have a media tour list, which would probably look different than your media tour list, but that's speaking engagements for me as well. But just exhausted and really brainstorm with other people, who have I not thought of yet here locally? Of course, if you want to go to Scottsdale, you can, but truly, I just think there's a lot more here that people aren't tapping into.
Right. Thank you.
And we've talked about this, I know PJ on a social and personal level, but I stopped creating those environments and trying to bring people to me because I was not successful at it. So I started going to groups. So I look for those opportunities where I could teach people how to prepare their homes prior to leaving for the summer months. And I went to where they were as opposed to asking them to come to where I was.
Okay.
So the same thing that Betsy's talking about for PJ, have you explored, those are speaking engagement opportunities.
Right.
And that would be true that's true for everybody in this room
Yeah.
that do presentations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
PJ, what's your business?
Light therapy?
Like therapy? Oh, we're like therapy. Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, and then of course you would have your social media, which I know you're pretty active, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And do you get much from social media? You do?
Yeah, so I have a lunch and learn I'm doing next week at one of the golf courses, and I throw a post out and then I get signups. So I mean that works for local anyway. So anyway,
Yeah, so that could be one of the milestone objectives as well. Again, is your website up to par?
probably not.
Right, so again, that's another one that you could add to this list for the year.
Okay.
Okay?
And even, if I could say something too, even us in this group, we should all like as part of the chamber members, support one another, right? So one of the things we can easily do is tag you, like or something you post up, reshare it. right? Because all those things get Google searches and
Yeah.
SEOs and those things all help our businesses. I'm huge about supporting one another's businesses and always giving someone a shout out.
Absolutely.
Or even like bartering services. Hey, I'll give you a 1 hour coaching session. I'm a business coaching consultant and advisor.
Mhm.
So you give me an hour of red light therapy, I'll do this. I'll do like a little video clip and I'll tag you in it so I can give you some more love and shout outs on my page, and that gets more people visualizing and seeing your page.
Yeah.
I think that's really important for us to do as
It
as
is. We've
support
talked
one
about
another.
that at previous chamber meetings of like, let's just like sit around and like get some Google reviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but then it stops, so let's do it, right? And continue to support them, and not just a like, but put a comment. That's what helps that whole algorithm and driving people to Google and SEO and website.
And that's the understanding of it,
Yeah.
which at my age, I'm not.
Oh,
It has nothing to do with your age.
But I'm getting better. I'm not gonna say age anymore, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
I just was never a fan, but now I have to be for
Yeah,
the
I mean,
business.
it's true,
have
it's
to.
generation. I coach a
get
lot of baby boomers and Gen X, and that it's a generation thing.
It
They're a
is.
little bit apprehensive of that. It's like, okay, let's just take baby steps to do that. I'm not gonna like shove it in your face. Let's do little things and see if that helps, see if that improves.
Or make enough money in my business so I can hire someone,
Absolutely.
right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
do things I love to do. And
That's a
then
great
hire
goal,
someone
right?
to
For you
that's a goal
to
for
do
me.
that, you wanna
Yeah.
do this to get to
You wanna
that
hire
goal,
someone,
to
yeah.
hire that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so your milestone objectives, again, are your big projects to get you to your goal. Again, looking at all aspects of your business and what's gonna get you there faster. And then the parking lot would be like, if, say, you had overhaul your website on there, and you could do that in the first quarter, then you could pull something from the parking lot back into your milestone objectives. And if I just confused you, I apologize, but here. Okay, so within each milestone objective is called what we call big rocks. So these are the things that you actually have to do to make that project happen. So this is a list of the big rock projects. So you have your milestone objectives. So we'll go with the upgrade and refresh digital marketing platform. So website overhaul, blog overhaul, create a social media plan. So these are the things I have to do if I want to upgrade my social media marketing platform and branding. So each one of your milestone objectives will have a list of the things you need to do to get that to happen. So you see how like we're just kind of whittling it down to the actual step-by-steps that you'll have to do each day? You're welcome to take a photo of it.
Can't see it.
Yeah.
And we will add each one of your slides to the video production
Okay.
when it's done.
It's a tricky one.
I got a picture of PJ's head.
Get a picture and I did this.
So, after you've done your big rocks, you have the list of everything you need. Milestone objective, big rocks, the rocks that are all the things you need to do to make that milestone objective happen. You break it down by quarter. Because you can't do it all in January, right? It's impossible. So what you would do is you have first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and you decide, you have to decide, it could be chronological. So basically, I would wanna overhaul my website before I start doing the blog. You know, that would be like secondary. And then social would be third, because then I wanna drive people to my new website. So it makes sense, so you have to figure out what chronologically works for you. What you would put in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Everybody got it so far? Tell me if I'm losing you. Now, Bart just talked about priorities, so this is really, again, what's gonna make sense for you in your business. So you've got your quarter, now you're gonna break it down monthly. So say the first quarter, what are you gonna do in January, what are you gonna do in February, what are you gonna do in March? This was the first quarter, if you go back. Sorry. You see the list of the, I don't know if I have a poster. Oh, I do. Can you see that? Okay, so this is everything you're gonna do in first quarter. So now it's monthly, so you're gonna put it by January, February, March, what you're gonna do based on that first quarter chronologically, or what makes most sense, or what prioritize that you need to do based on your business. Now, we'll go into what's called the 90-day laser focus. And so on your sheet, you've done the quarterly, if you go to the back. So we're getting down now to the month. So you put the month, which will be January, first quarter. Your intended results on that worksheet, that's what your goals are for that month based on like defining positions. So say you know that you need to hire somebody to help you to grow your business. You're going to define that position. The intended result is to have that job description developed by the end of the month. Oh, let me go back. I want to stay here for a little bit. So, and then you can put it by the weeks. And so you'll see on the worksheet it says P's, those are priorities, what you're going to do each week for that month. So you would have to make 12 of those sheets, because it's one for each month. So you have one for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, right? So you know every month, every week, what you're supposed to do, well, how to achieve your goals. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's very structured, and the more structured and focused you are, the more likely you'll achieve your goals. Any questions? Did I lose you? You're all like, someone else do this for me? Alright, so then having the right goal at the right time. So this is about due dates and due dates. Again, if you were here for Bart's presentation, he talked a little bit about this. So you have due dates, that's like, PJ wants to have her website completed by March 31st. That's the due DUE date. And then the due dates is when you're going to work on it in your calendar. So every Monday I'm going to spend from 9 to 11 working on that website so I can make sure that by March 31st, it's ready to go. Make sense?
I like that, do and do. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because we always look at, I want this done by XYZ date.
And I have time, right? I say it all the time, I've got time for that. But the DO means I need to do it now.
Right.
So that in my mind, I gotta get it done. So
Yes,
I like
it's got to be on your calendar.
Yeah.
If you're like me, it won't get done.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll just touch on multitasking. Goes back to focusing on the one thing at the one time. So multitasking leads to as much as 40% drop in productivity. I know we all try to do it. I'm guilty. I have one hand over here typing, one over here doing something else. Trying to read a book, listen to a podcast while I'm writing copy. I think for whatever reason, somewhere in our upbringing generation, at least mine, was like, you can do a bunch of things at once. And we realize now the brain just doesn't work that way. So, most important task. So this is another rule I fall by is do the most important task first thing. So if the most important task is to call clients, then I'm going to call clients first thing. If it's your most important task is to work on that website, then you work on the website. They found that you should do the most important task in the morning. Most people that write, like if they're writers like me, we write from 5 to like 10 a.m. because that's when our brain is going to work the best. Then the things that are administrative, like checkbooks and bookkeeping and filing and all that stuff. I would hire anyone, any day to do all that. We can do that with less brain power. But whatever it takes, and everybody's different, whatever is going to take the most brain power, do that first thing. Anyone have any thoughts about that? Do you do that now? Yeah.
Things you don't want to do, you do first. The things that are hardest, you do first.
Exactly.
Get them out of the way.
Exactly. So yeah, Definitely the hardest for you to do the first thing. And it feels so good. Like, you know you've got it done, and you're like, okay, that's off my shelf. So this is what I use for scheduling, and it's called time blocking. So there's focus time, and there's flex time and free time. And does anyone use any kind of schedule like this? No? Okay. So on your calendar, so if I have client time and then I have focus time. The focus time is working on those milestone objectives, big rock projects. So I plug them all in here. So there's no way that I forget about them. After you've done your plan, you just plug it into your calendar based on what you just said. Okay, in January I'm going to work on my website. So I'm going to plug it in on Mondays from 11 to 2. And it's going to be there every week. I can't get away from it. The challenge I see a lot of people have with a calendar like this is they don't respect it. So I would never blow up a meeting with a client. Like if I have a meeting with a client, I'm not going to blow it up. But if I have like from 2 to 10 or whatever, I'm going to work on my website, I'll be like, I don't know if I want to do that. The way it's only going to work is if you respect your time and actually sit down and do the work. Now, flex time. Flex time is something you should have in your calendar as well. And that is when those unexpected things happen in your life. It could be someone calls you today and says, hey, I want to meet, I'm really interested in your program. And if you have your calendar full and you respect it, you're going to be like, oh, I have no time to meet with this person. That's why you have flex time in your calendar. So you say, great, I can meet you on Friday because I have my time there. So if you don't use that for something, you can use it for anything else. But it's just to plan for those unexpected things that happen in your life. And it can be, it comes up as personal too. But we know we have the personal unexpected things. Any questions about the calendar? No? Does anyone use something similar? I think that's it, yeah. Yeah. And I go one step further because I will get engrossed in my writing or work, and I use my Alexa. So she has my calendar on her system, and she'll tell me 30 minutes in advance that I have another meeting in 30 minutes with Susan. And so, which works because I otherwise would forget that I do, because you get engrossed and you're like working away, and then she'll go, blah, 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 and she says it twice for whatever reason. I don't know, but probably good, but my husband's always like, why does she say it twice? I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's on 2 calendars, I don't know. But that's a good way to have a reminder. You can also use your phone. If anyone has any other suggestions on how you make sure that you land your calendar and your times.
I use a timer a lot, so I don't have to keep looking or paying attention. I can focus on what I'm doing and just set a timer.
Nice.
If anyone uses Google Calendar, they also have something called a task board. And so you can create your big milestones, your big rocks within your task board, and then attach the task board to the calendar. So you could do your due time and your due time separate, but attached to that task.
Wow.
So,
And what's it called again?
It's called a task board. It's through Google. It's a Google.
So long as you have a Google
As long
account.
as you're using Google Calendar. Now, don't change everything if you're not. But if you're already using Google Calendar,
Does
you
your-
already have it available.
Does
to
your
you.
Google Calendar connect with your iPhone though?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
really
it
good.
does.
Yeah, mine does too. That's great. So that way you wouldn't even have to manually plug it in, right?
Mhm.
Once you have it on it's called
Task board.
task board. I'm gonna look into that.
And it's complimentary unless you do a massive amount or combine your teams. If you start combining other people's calendars, you have to start paying for it.
Okay.
Ah, okay. But might not be that much either.
No, it's $100 a year.
So if anyone's been using AI, I just started using it, and it does cut your time down
It's incredible.
quite a bit. Yeah, so are you using it?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'd love to take a class on how to use AI in your business. Like if anyone ever wants to do that, but it's cool.
Yeah,
I
so,
like it too.
and with AI, what it comes down to, I use ChatGPT. It comes down to having the correct prompts to get the correct feedback. Because the problem with AI is that if you asked it a certain question and the prompts weren't specific enough, it'll give you all these answers, and then if you ask it again, it'll give you a bunch of new answers.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So, do you want to see how it works, like if we put in a prompt as far as goal planning?
Sure.
You'll have to show me over here, better computer.
One thing we did learn with ChatGPT anyway is if you're doing anything historical, it is only 2021 and newer. So if you're relying on any information for historical fact, I would keep that in mind, not to take that with a grain of salt.
Right, yeah. And it will tell you sometimes, like if you ask a question, and it's like, no, I don't have that.
Okay, that's just logged me in.
Okay, so
use
you
my
can cut and paste that. Or we'll go back to the slide. So I was just gonna do that. Come up with social media clear.
Like slides that you develop.
I don't know if I like it. I'll have to read it too.
Amazing how it just.
Can you read it to me? But I have to be here typing.
All right, we'll do the first part.
Okay, so let's just go back.
Yeah, so come up with a social media plan.
Here, let's just. I can type it again.
You are sure smart.
Okay. So.
Return it. So the one other thing that I didn't put in this prompt is if you could put at the beginning, you have to tell the AI what they are, like what's their position. So it'd say, you are a social media expert. Okay.
Send?
Sure. So I'll just start spewing it out. So you'll see, based on the prompt you gave it, it's giving you content strategies, so tips and tricks, customer spotlights, fun plumbing facts, live Q&A sessions, FYI, disaster stories. So these are all great things for Joe's Plumbing. If he was worried about like, what do I write about? They just got 10 fabulous ideas.
Oh, that's
Fun
great.
plumbing facts, oh my gosh, seasonal maintenance.
Yeah, and then hashtag strategy.
That's
So
so
it's
cool.
just a matter of putting in the right prompts. And PJ, I'd be happy to share the prompts that I
That would be great.
use. That one's a super simple one. Like I had a super complex one that I was gonna bring, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna mess people up.
Yeah.
But I have one where you have to put a lot of constraints in, and then you can also ask to give it to you in a certain format. So if you wanted it in a chart, if you wanted it, just listicles,
Wow.
and then it can be in there. So when you're doing your goal planning, this is your shortcut. And you're thinking about your milestone objectives, and you're like, okay, I have to overhaul my website. Ask Chat. Just say, you are a website expert. I need to overhaul my website. My business is light therapy. I help XYZ people. Just throw it all in there. Give me 10 things I need to do in first quarter.
And this is my current website. You can throw that in
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
Good
There we go. Now, you have to look at it not 100% perfect.
Right.
Because it is still an AI. And it might come up with something that you're gonna be like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, right.
Right. So
Gotta make it your own.
right.
That's why it's artificial intelligence.
Right.
It just gives you ideas. You can like create templates, proposals, whatever you put in there, the more info you put, the more better it comes out.
I haven't used it much, but whenever I have to do a talk, I put a speech in it and then I find out what they say. And it comes back so much more eloquent.
Yeah, you're starting to see, like, I'm starting to like recognize,
AI content when you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Make
it's,
sure it's your brain and
but
your
here's,
words.
yeah, you put
And
your
then you
spin
tweak
in it.
it to you.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so as a writer, I will use it for research, but I can't use it for my writing because it comes out like vanilla.
Oh, right.
It's like, and I'm supposed to be the one that does the spicy writing, so. And chat can't be spicy, I've tried. Be cheeky, and it's like, not even close to it. Yeah, so there's hopefully a shortcut for you as you're doing your goal planning. And that's the website, if you wanna go on to ChatGPT, which we just were.
Yeah.
It's free. I don't even subscribe to the paid one yet, but I might. Do you have a question?
I'm sure you guys all know this, but it's also an app that you can download.
Yeah, and YouTube has a gazillion videos on how to use it. And a lot of them are very, very good.
That's cool.
If you happen to go to the state of the county, there was from Cloverseed, because she was a sponsor, she put in a hard page of all different ChatGPT prompts that you could use for your business.
Okay.
And that was something that was in your bag. So if you went, you have that already.
Well, that's
If you
great.
don't, we might have some later on.
And who's that?
Mel, she owns
Cloverseed.
Cloverseed, she's a virtual assistant.
Oh,
So, yeah, it was a really helpful prompt page.
Yeah.
Like, it was really great.
Yeah, because it does come down to the prompts. It really does. And then one trick that I know when you're putting your prompt in, because I messed up enough to really figure it out, is like when you put in the prompt, sometimes, so you could put your copy in too. Cut and paste your copy in and say, critique this. I want it to be a friendly voice. Find any grammatical errors, blah, blah, blah. If you hit shift and then space, then it will go down, because otherwise, as soon as you hit return, it just goes and you're like, oh, I didn't finish. So you hit shift and then you can go down and put the spaces in. Okay, so, with goal planning, we have best intentions, but with failure and success goes hand in hand. Thomas Edison, I've not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work. So I think a lot of times, as business owners, we have these grand plans. It's not gonna happen 100% no matter how much you put it in paper or implement, something's gonna, not work out so well, but that's how we learn, is through our failures. Next, my contact information.
You said in your introduction, you said, number one, you have a podcast?
No, I've been on a podcast.
Oh, you've been on a
Yeah, I've
podcast.
been on podcasts.
And the other question is escaping me. Oh, so I think I get what you do. You write copy for all kinds of things, right? So talk about maybe an e-marketing campaign that you've implemented. I think Betsy threw out some numbers.
Sure. I do email marketing specifically. I have written copy for other genres and different things. Basically what happens is I start working with a client doing their emails, and they're like, oh, can you write my web copy? Oh, can you write my brand story?
Right.
So that's how that all happens. But email marketing, I'm a certified email marketer. And so what I do is I can help build funnels. Does everybody know what a funnel is?
Right.
Okay, so funnels are like this. The top of the funnel is going to be your social media. That's how someone might find you initially. And then you want to transition them into the middle of the funnel, which is your email marketing, your email list. And then across the bottom of the funnel, you become a customer. So with funnels, one client that I have, she's a meditation instructor, and she teaches other women how to become, women and men, to become a meditation instructor. And her course is a year-long course. It's like $2,500. And she had a great email list, but she didn't have a funnel for her course. So I built her a funnel, and in that funnel, emails went out to the list, and each email handled a certain objection for why a person wouldn't join the course. So like imposter syndrome, a lot of women doing like second, third career change, you know, the corporate American, they're like, now I want to become a meditation instructor. Confidence builder, you know, yes, you can do this. Will I get the support from this, you know, what if I buy this program and they, you know, ghost me? We address that, there's all the support, there's this call number, there's this, you know, webinars. Sent it out over a week, every other day. The emails, I did 5 emails, and she sold out her program.
Nice.
Yeah, she had never had that happen.
Okay, so I'm really interested in what you're doing with this. My hang up and problem is I have thousands of people on my email list, so I always collect email addresses. I have them in one big fat group. They are not, for the most part, I try to pull people out that become my clients that are owners, and so here's the other ones. But it's such an overwhelming, what I really need is have some of those local, national, it's just one giant mess of contacts. So when I do webinars, so when I do a webinar, I email the whole mess. And
So
that's
people
fine.
that are in the state and you're doing.
Well, right, so I can't use eMark, or I can't use eMark. I know I could start doing this right now as far as segmenting the local ones, and I need to start right now. But I can't announce an event that I'm doing locally on my MailChimp because it's a hot mess. I don't know where anyone is.
Yeah.
So
You just need a segment.
I just need to
How many
start
are on your list?
maybe 3,000 or 4,000.
Okay.
I mean, it's years of collecting.
And MailChimp can help you, and I can show you, I'd be happy to show you how you can just figure out who's active, where they are, you know. And then you just tag them and segment them, so that when you have something specifically that's locally,
I need to segment local, just call it local, and then I can I need to do
there's
that.
other ways to segment too, based on maybe, do you just have one program, do you have multiple different variations of your program?
I'd say multiple.
Yeah, so there's gonna be people that are more geared to one over another, so you can segment that as well. So when maybe you're doing a promotion on an XYZ program.
But how do I can't possibly go back and figure out where everyone belongs. I
Did
need
you do
to
a
start
survey?
today.
Yeah, you could do a survey. It's really not that hard, you only have 3,000. She had 17,000 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I feel better.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's
because
months.
the email service provider would help me as far as I know how to go into the email service provider.
And find out where they're at.
Figure out where they're at, how active they are. If they haven't opened one of your emails in a year,
But you literally have to do that one by one.
no, you can ask the email service provider who's active, how active they are, when the last were active, when's the last time they opened an email.
And you can ask where they're at.
If you have put it in initially.
So I have to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But to that comment, I receive emails about presentations that are going on in other states. I'm not going to attend those, but I don't mind getting an email because maybe one of them is going to be coming to my town. So it's again, you're going to have a level of awareness to people, whether they're in Chicago, Florida, New York, or Fountain Hills.
Okay.
So what? Let them delete the email. You know, hey, this isn't me.
That's easier.
I'm not going to Lunch and Learn. I live in Chicago, but if I live in Fountain Hills or in Scottsdale and I'm on your list, maybe I will make the trip.
And you could even just add on there,
Right.
don't live in Fountain Hills, question mark?
Watch
Check
this
me out on this
webinar.
web, Yeah.
Yeah, good call. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And it's not a bad thing. It's good to personalize the segment, but it's not a bad thing also because if you're sending out an email about doing some presentation where someone's not living in that locale, it gives you credibility. Like, oh, look at what she's doing, you know?
Cool.
Oh, look at, she's doing these presentations. Maybe when next time I'm in Fountain Hills, I should go to one of her
Or
presentations.
maybe she'll come to my town,
Right.
Yeah.
you know.
But moving forward from here on out, segment
And you
start to,
I believe in MailChimp too, we can also add, when you send out something locally, what Betsy was saying is you can say, if this is not of any interest to you, just click here. You don't unsubscribe. Basically, you're just not gonna get the emails about this particular event.
okay.
So there's.
And to brag on Barbara for just a second too, I'll share that we already had a new member email sequence. We already have that in place, but she made it better and she automated it for us. So that's a huge time saver.
Yeah.
Automated the process. We had to actually do the back end part, but working together, we were able to automate the entire process. And we use something called Monday.com to do so. And then the other thing that we did not have in place that Barbara put together 100% was our sales funnel. So Kristen was, every single person doing Kristen's amazing, so she's doing all of the things for every interested party. But now her sales funnel has been narrowed down, and it's fantastic. And she and Barbara put that entire thing together for us. So if they say they're not interested in this, then this happens, or if they're interested in this, then this happens, and it's all working behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's really
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the great thing about email service providers is the automation code. Gives you more free time. Because a lot of the things we would do manually, we don't have to anymore. And you can still personalize everything. It doesn't have to be sound like a robot or anything. But if you have, like when someone signs up for your email list, do they get a welcome sequence?
They should be.
They should. How many emails?
I went down that road a little bit and then I just, how many?
So in the welcome sequence, do you know how many emails you're sending out?
None. I have no welcome sequence.
Okay.
I need one.
That would be my recommendation right away.
That's great.
And I'll be glad to help you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Was this helpful?
Yes,
very
great. So great.
Yeah, I know it's a lot because it's you gotta put your planning brain on and sit there, but use ChatGPT to even get you started, start flowing some ideas as far as what the major projects that you need to work on and then what those big rocks are. Okay.
Are you at all threatened by AI? Good for you.
Yeah.
Right, and I understand why you're not. I get it. I'm not saying are you threatened that's taking.
As far as a writer, being a writer?
Yeah.
No, because even some of my mentors who are now putting part of their writing courses showing how to use AI,
Yeah.
it's still, you know when you get these AI, blogs or write-up, because it still can't, it doesn't have a personality.
Right.
There's one that I sent out to my email list about, that they put into the AI saying, Marsha went to the prom, and then, I forget what the whole thing is, but something about she died, and what did she have for dinner the next day? It didn't understand death. It doesn't understand death, it doesn't understand a lot of things about being human. So it's best as a tool. I guess if you look at it like any tool that we've had, we got a computer,
Right.
whatever year that was. But it's just a tool.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool.
yeah. I mean, the people that use it primarily for their writing, they're gonna fail.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Right, writer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
I
think
always need the personal touch from a
You're solid
copywriter.
writer. Good job.
Give her a big round.
Well, we can use it on something so silly.